What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the new year. Welcome back to the GSDs. We're getting back to getting this shit done. Back to every week. The holidays were fucking awesome. Took some time off, hung out with my amazing girlfriend, and now back at it. I thought this would be a good topic to kick off the year. And I'm going to talk about coaching. This is meant to be informative, but it's also going to be a little bit self-promoting. Those of you that have been in the coaching and are currently in the coaching, I'm hoping you guys give me some head nods through this conversation. But I want to change the perspective a little bit of coaching because I think there's such a negative connotation with the idea of inviting someone into your business to help you do better. The reality is, and this is how I want you to shift your perspective, because the reality is, what if you treated your position as if you were an athlete and you were playing the game of business? Now, if you were working to be a professional athlete, you would absolutely have a coach, probably multiple coaches. But you would, without question, have a coach. And if you look at you in your business, I want you to ask yourself, how good of an athlete are you in the game of business? How good of an athlete are you in your business? See, when you hire a coach, first of all, you have to put your ego away. And there's no sense in waiting until you get to a point of desperation to hire a coach. Now, trust me, I'm not downplaying desperation. I think desperation is one hell of a motivator. But I think if you look at your business and look at yourself and your team if you have one, or the idea of a team if you want one, you need to hire a coach. Now, when I work with clients, my role is to not do their job for them. And the reason I say that, it's one of the misperceptions of bringing in a coach is that you think that either someone's going to come in and do your job for you or come in and tell you exactly how to do your job. And yes, there are coaches and coaching programs that do that, but I don't believe that to be the best way. See, if you're an athlete and I'm your coach, I can't play the game for you. So when you look at coaching and you look at playing the game of business and you look at performing like an athlete and treating yourself like an athlete, a coach's job is to help you with strategy. A coach's job is to review the game film or look at the whiteboard, which for me is getting business owners to that 30,000 foot view so they can see what their business is doing, look at what direction they're going, and then we can have a conversation about strategies that we need to create, tactics that we need to implement to be able to course correct or further the distance of the business to become more successful. So when we come out of our coaching sessions, you go back from the 30,000 foot view to your current operating view. Sometimes that's in the weeds. Sometimes that's at 5 feet. Sometimes it's sales. Sometimes it's install. Whatever, again, position you're playing, whatever athletic role you're playing in your business, you're gonna leave that conversation and go back into that. But a coach should not do your job for you. And a coach should not just tell you what to do. I had a great conversation with my good friend Garrett, who was one of my earliest clients. And we just got into the conversation of coaching. And honestly, his conversation was why I wanted to do this GSD. And this GSD might be a little bit long, we'll just see. But, he said that there's really two different types of coaches. There are the coaches that teach you what to think or tell you what to think. And there are coaches that teach you how to think. I will tell you, and I've never heard anyone put it this way, so when he told me this, I just kind of had to sit in my own silence for a moment. But I'm going to teach you how to think. And there are other coaches that teach you what to think. I have programs that teach you what to think. The toolbox teaches you what to think. The coaching teaches you how to think. But again, if you're playing the game of business as an athlete, it's important to know what to think because you need to be tactical. You need to know how to make decisions in the moment. But if you learn how to think, you're going to become strategic with your business. You're going to become strategic with the game planning. And I'm using an athlete and game reference here because I'm not an athlete, but whether you are or not, you understand the concept of athlete and coach. But learning how to think about your business, learning how to think about sales, learning how to think about leadership, how to think about building a team, how to think about developing relationships and creating the best experience for your clients. You need to know how to do both. And as I left my conversation with Garrett, I realized that it's one of the big separators of successes and leaders when they graduate or when they elevate from what to think to how to think. There's three basic functions, three basic sectors, if you will, of your business. There's leadership and team, there is sales and marketing, and there are systems and operations. Simplifying how you classify your business this way is going to help you become more efficient on what you need to do in each area. See, let's talk about sales and marketing. Because a coach, if you look at a coach, right, a coach is going to have some overlap, but a coach is also going to have other coaches that work with him that specialize in these things. Sales and marketing. I can teach you how to do sales, how to have conversations with clients, how to effectively cold call. But marketing is not my strength. To tell you the truth, it's my greatest weakness in business. So you need to have someone do the marketing for you, or at least teach you the marketing. The other thing is, if you look at being an athlete, I'm going to go back to the athlete analogy here. If you look at leadership and team building, if you look at sales and marketing, and you look at systems and operations, as an athlete in your company, it's not efficient for you to try to play in every position. You're never going to be a great athlete at one thing. You're going to be mediocre at a bunch of things. So when you look at sales and marketing, if you're doing sales, yes, you need sales training, but you also need marketing. That's something that you need to automate or delegate, right? You need to eliminate that off of your plate, out of your playbook. You need to know what's going on, but you need to automate or delegate that. Systems and operations is another thing. Depending on the type of business that you have, if you are a home service business, a residential, light commercial service-based company, FieldPulse is a really good fit. If you are a project-based company, JobTread is a really good fit. That's a system and not just plug and play, but plug and shape, plug and mold, plug and customize to your business. But those are systems that help you navigate and control and manage operations. So you should not be tracking people down every day to get time cards or every week to get time cards. That needs to be systematic. You don't need to be using your accounting software as a proposal program because it's not built to do that. You need a system. And when you look at those systems, you have those systems in place, they should complement the operations of your company, and they should create efficiency and effectiveness in the operations of your company, whether you are a single owner operator or have a team. But that systems and operations is another area where you have to be a good athlete, or at least automate or delegate that, or structure in a way that you can manage those athletes that are performing in that role. So looking at sales and marketing, looking at systems and operations. I look at leadership and team building, which leadership is my favorite thing to discuss. It's my absolute favorite topic, because if you look at an athlete, and if you looked at yourself as an athlete, the way to redefine leadership is personal performance. How are you growing and how are you performing in a way that invites others to follow you, that encourages others to follow you, that builds fellowship in other people? If you're a poor athlete, nobody wants to be on your team. And if they're on your team, they definitely don't want you in a role where you're calling the shots. They don't want you as team captain. I love leadership and I love operations. And those of you that work with me and have worked with me, you know that's where we spend a lot of our time in our conversations. We have strategic conversations and figuring out how to structure these within the company. Now, let's talk about you hiring a coach. And I think my friend and client, Dan, I think he put it very well when him and I started working together. He told me he wanted to find out how far he could take his business by himself. He wanted to discover his capacity, his ability. And once he kept bumping up against that ceiling, he had already made the decision previously to discovering that. He had already made the decision to hire a coach. Now, I'm fortunate enough that he invited me to be his coach, but see, he made a conscious effort to say, I'm going to do this to the best of my ability, and then I'm going to start building a team. Not a team of people, but a team of people behind the scenes. Not additional technicians, but looking at bookkeeping, looking at a coach, looking at insurance agents, looking at bankers, looking at all of these different areas where you need to build this team on the back end, kind of the behind the scenes, kind of the Wizard of Oz's of the company. And I thought that was, the reason I brought up that example is because I thought it was a very humble and aggressive decision. But I think you have to be careful, because a lot of business owners fall into this trap that they can do it on their own. You cannot perform as a high-level athlete on your own. You're not going to be the best. You're not going to be the most successful. And one of the things that a coach should do for you is expedite your growth and expedite your success. So I am telling you, and that's why I wanted to have this as the first GSD of the year, I am telling you to hire a fucking coach, get a mentor, become part of a networking group. You need to be around people that are going to believe what you believe, but challenge you in a way that forces you to grow. And if you have a coach that is not willing to have hard conversations with you, is not willing to tell you things that nobody else will tell you, is not willing to call you out on your bullshit, then they're not a coach. They're just a kind person. Doesn't mean that you have to do it in an unkind way. But as I onboard a lot of my clients, my expectation is that I'm not going to waste your money by sugarcoating things. We've got to peel off the Band-Aid. We've got to figure out what is going on. And the only way that I know how to expedite your success is to be honest. So you've got to have a coach. I'm telling you, if you want to be the professional athlete in your company and you want to win at the game of business, you need to get off your ass. You need to put your ego aside and you need to hire a coach. Guys, I appreciate you. I love you. Till next time, get shit done.